Nothing, I just slammed the door. Okay, so, Unleash This, book reviews. Dean Gornitis, every Saturday, bringing a new book review. Today, it's kind of sunny out, but the window, I don't know, it's on the wrong side of the house, so it might seem a little dark in here, but I don't like all the artificial lighting in my face all the time, and I can never get the lighting right. So anyways, I'm just going to do it chilled, laid back style, going back to my roots. But yeah, this week I reviewed Big Fish by Wallace, something Wallace. I know I found it looking at David Foster Wallace in the library. Daniel Wallace. Big Fish, that movie that came out a few years ago, that was kind of like mystical, a little magical, but it told the story of a man's father who was dying at the root of the story. What you have is a collection of really short stories, the book version here, not talking about the movie anymore, a collection of really brief short stories that are obviously fake, exaggerated, blown up, magical at times, things that could never happen, stuff like that, about a man's father. And you can tell that this story was written right after his father had passed away, and it in between these little fables, these little stories about his father, you have the real life instance of watching his father pass away. But those are only brief interludes within the story, kind of to keep you grounded, to learn a little bit about the true father, the true situation, in between the majority of the book, which is a tribute to his father with these very grand stories of mythic, epic proportion. And although I can't say a whole lot as far as brilliant writing style, it wasn't, but it got the job done. Brilliant storytelling, pretty good, but not amazing, but still good enough. On all those kind of levels, the book seems average, but something about it hits home because you realize the amount of truth and love and dedication that sits behind the story. I don't even think David Wallace would be too hurt with a critique like that, because as far as I understood from the brief biography I read of him, he never really considers himself a writer first. I think he's also an illustrator, and he works in business, things of that nature. And this was his first book, and I don't know if he even wrote anything else. He may have. I didn't look that deep into it. But what I get here is not the story of a man who had high aspirations to be an amazing writer, but the story of a man who really loved his father, and although he maybe never got to know his father as deep and as well as he would have liked, because his father had trouble emotionally connecting with pretty much everybody in his life. He always put a little bit of a guard up. Even with that, it's the story of a guy who really loved his father and wanted to write a story that would immortalize him. And I think that's wonderful, and I think that's why the book, it was so touching, and the reason why I really felt like I really wanted to finish it. Not because it was some epic work of art, but because there's real soul in this story of a real man just doing something good. And so I really liked it for that reason. Maybe not a literary masterpiece, but definitely worth reading if you're looking for something a little bit lighter, It's small, it's short, very brief. You could easily finish it in a day, a weekend. Yeah, so that's what I think. David Wallace. Big Fish.